Hey everyone, this is Michael for Spirit Comics. Welcome to my channel. And my gosh, I swear to goodness, I wanted to do this at 7:30, which was, let me see, about a little more than an hour ago. And for some reason, I couldn't get it right. But I finally got it. At least I got something working, I think. I mean, I'm going to have to check my own YouTube page to see if this is actually showing up. I mean, it was an hour ago. But yeah, it says that I'm live now. So I'm gonna copy the live stream and just share it with everyone. Whew. Share it with my friends over on Twitter that we get together and we draw every week. We do. And we started this, I don't know how many weeks ago, but it's been something really fun ever since. And I'm just going to share this with a couple places, and then I'm going to get back to the pad. Oh gosh. You don't know how frustrating, well, maybe you do know how frustrating this can be. I mean, this is, YouTube has allowed well, maybe not allow, but they've created a quicker way to get people live. And an hour before I was to go live, I thought I had everything set up. But apparently I didn't. Okay, now I have the picture. Oh goodness. Back on my screen that I wanted to use. Okay, I gotta put my colored pencils somewhere. And my phone in my pocket here. Put the lid on my colored pencils so I don't lose all 36 of them. Because first I have to focus just on the drawing. And I was starting on that before I realized I honestly have no idea what going live is all about. You know? So if you do have, if you would like to join me on this stream, feel free. I'm not sure if I can respond to everyone. I mean, heck, we might wind up talking about something else other than drawing. Okay. Now, I'm not going to be able to see the screen because I have the picture which I want to draw. I uploaded that to Facebook so I could have it on the screen, and look at while I draw. And I am by no means a pro. And would y'all like to know a little bit a little something about me? For any of those that, tune in. When I was much younger, and this was many a year ago. I'm talking about when I was in middle school, because this happened when I was in middle school. I'm going on 45 this year. And this happened when I was in middle school, which was let me see here. I think it was from 86 to 89. I can't remember which grade I was in. But I had this art teacher. Her name was Miss Mock. And she wasn't a totally bad. I mean, she wasn't even a bad teacher. She loved her craft, which was art. But I think her people skills may have been not so grand. Oops. Wrong one. One day, she started having us watch these videos of Renaissance paintings from that era. And they were nice. I mean, of course, I was bored out of my skull. I was just a little kid then. And I do kind of remember falling asleep a few times. And I think I even got caught. Because let's be realistic. Young kids plus Renaissance paintings, slideshow, not exactly make for something interesting. And I'll be honest, I do know that many people were in that class only because they needed, well, that because they didn't want, no, this is middle school. They were in that class because they didn't want to do something more strenuous. And so many people signed up for that class, art. And I enjoyed art class. I always did. But sometimes I had difficulty with certain aspects of the class. And I'll tell you, it was not an easy class. I mean, shit, and the teacher even came over to me quite a few times when I would fall asleep and yell at me. And, you know, that she was justified to do so, I think, because it was her class. Okay, and just to show you what I have so far, this is not turning out how I planned. He's starting to look like a goblin or something, and this is me using the picture of a faculty manager. Okay, so you know, maybe it's just my being creative. I'm not sure. Anyways, I remember the class, and I don't say that I remember it fondly because I don't. Okay, now the ear has to be, well, I can't show you this picture because I don't have my encoding software set up to where I can show the screen and then switch it back to me, because I don't really know how I could do that. But the ear needs to be, I think, perpendicular according to this picture, just slightly above the eye. Okay. And it's interesting that I should mention that because when I was in this particular art class, one of the assignments, I think, was for us to draw an ear after we had watched those Renaissance films. And since I didn't pay a lot of attention to those films, plus the focus of those films was not really on the shape of the different body parts, nor was it on the shape based on the shape of anything in general. They were just films about about those paintings from the Renaissance era. And I may have an idea what I'm gonna do here. And then eventually, she would tell us that she wanted us students to each draw an ear. And I thought, oh boy, I don't know how to do this. And I don't think I'm doing so well right now on this here. But it was the assignment, and I didn't want to receive a failing grade or anything. So I tried. Just like now. I'm trying. And what I did then was I drew a half circle, and then I drew a half circle inside of that one. I drew a half circle inside of that one, and I drew a half circle inside of that one. Well, I took it up to my art teacher and said something like this, and she got mad at me. I mean, she did. She literally got mad. And I'm going to show you. This is my third attempt at drawing an ear. It doesn't look real good. But this is just practice. And I'm all here by myself. I said to her, I said like this, and I handed her the paper. Of course, to be fair, I didn't put a whole lot of effort into it. So she literally grabbed my ear and pulled on it. And I was just a little kid, middle school age. She grabbed my ear and pulled on it, and she said something like, "You think this is what a ear is like? You think that's like your drawing or something of that nature?" And I was flabbergasted that she would, handle me that way. I mean, I know that there are some times when students need to be spanked, because I was spanked when I was in school, actually in elementary school. And I was, just aghast that my teacher would handle me that way. And I didn't know what to say to her. But I knew what to do. What all children do when something like that happens to them, or what all children should do when something like that happens. You go home and you tell your mom. Yeah, Florence. Oh, I think something happened to her. It's, welcome. I think something did happen to her, because my mom, who was also a teacher at that time, she went down there, spoke to the principal. What mom likes to hear that teachers basically manhandled their kid? My mom didn't like it. I mean, in today's culture, in today's schools, that might not happen. But not only did teachers spank the students when they were bad, they got away with crap that they shouldn't have gotten away with. Okay, now I'm going to try and do some shading on this face. I think I know what I should do. I mean, the gentleman that I'm trying to draw has a beard that's mainly white and mixed with gray, so I'm going to try and color in some white and gray over the ear, like that, and see how that goes. But it was just one of those times in life that left an impression on me, and not a good impression. I mean, there are certain instances in our lives that just impact us so much that we cannot forget them. They don't rule our lives. But man, it was just something I did not know what to do, did not know what to think of. Okay, this is gonna like this. This will be a rough drawing, but maybe something good will come out of it. And I think if that had not happened, that perhaps I would have kept drawing. That I would have pursued a career in drawing. I don't know. But that was not exactly encouraging. Well, I really don't know how to draw a white beard on white paper. So, I'm, I'm going to try a mix of silver and warm gray. See what I come up with. Maybe afterward the white will mesh them together. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that my mother still has in her collection of the many pictures which I drew around that time something that I just had drawn offhand. I've still never been to the desert, but I remember drawing something that looked very much like a desert sunset. And she loved it so much that she had it framed. So, you know, this is something I think I've been kind of carrying around with me for a long time because I've never really had the encouragement to draw again. Or the desire. But it's coming back. Okay, now this does not really look like him, but you know, he's starting to take shape, I think. Well, what made me get back into drawing was honestly was two things. The first was I was starting to draw. It wasn't starting to draw, but I was starting to create my own stories inspired by characters from the Marvel universe and the DC universe. But I wanted to write them in such a way where they might seem a little bit similar, but in their own way, they would have some more flaws and maybe some more trials and tribulations than those which inspired them. And then I came back. I met you, Florence, and many of the others at the when the comic sketch group began. And I found that there were people who were vastly more qualified, I mean, to draw than I was. But the encouragement I received there was something that meant and still does mean quite a bit to me. Because I mean, just you know, talking with like-minded people that share the same love of not only comics but creation, creating our own stories, our own characters. Because I knew when I started writing my own characters that eventually, one day, if I wanted to turn them into anything, that I would need to start drawing. But since I didn't have much in the way of encouragement, I always seem to put that on the back burner. You know, oh, I'll figure out something at a later date, because I'm mainly a writer and just trying to put these stories together. But Florence, someone who has recently encouraged me, and he doesn't even know it, is Dan Jurgens, the man who has been writing Action Comics for the past 2 years. These people's are really whack. I did not know that he was also an artist. And when Action Comics 1000 came out, it said writer/artist Dan Jurgens. I was like, wow. Dan Jurgens is the artist as well? And there was some really beautiful artwork in his 15-page story. So if he can write something and 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 draw it as well, then just perhaps I can too. Okay, I'm gonna try to define the areas for the uh, the rest of his beard. And the rest is sort of brown. But I'm going to go with this is the light umber. I do have a dark brown in here. And for all I know, he might wind up looking like one of the Beatles. No, that's Tuscan Red. Yeah, here it is. I think something else that got me back into drawing was when was the colors. When we started out with the comic sketch group, it was fun just making sketches. But I wanted to also put some coloring in it. My favorite books from Dan Jurgens, I only know of two that he's written. Action Comics and Batman Beyond, currently. And to be honest, I really don't know if his heart is in Batman Beyond or not, but I don't want to see him off of it. Because his talent is so great. But man, with Action Comics, he was just always on the nose. He always delivered a solid story. And now that he's had to turn over the Superman car keys, as it were, well, the only thing that'll keep me reading Action Comics is the artwork of Patrick Gleason. Because his artwork is going to be in the first issue by Bendis. So I don't know what to expect from the new Action Comics. Excuse me. Okay. Set those down there. Okay, this character is starting to... Well, he's a faculty member. He's not a character. But this doesn't look too bad. Now I need to put some flesh tones in him. Now I've learned to mix light peach with cream and peach, because those seem to make good colors for skin tone. Oh, excuse me. I remember reading a few weeks ago that Copic markers were the gold standard for the comic pros, and I went out to Michael's art craft shop a few weeks ago and found that they had some markers, but they weren't Copic markers. And I got to talking with my mom about this, and she asked me a question that I think was a very valid question. She's asked if I thought that I was ready for gold standard. And to be honest, I don't think I am. Because really, I enjoy these colored pencils a lot. I do. So I had an idea about a week ago or so. If I can get one story, just one story, finished, completed with some pictures, perhaps I just could take that one story and make a small comic book out of it. I think I think it might be possible. I don't know how much that would cost. But I would like to try. And my idea of this process is a little bit different from what we've grown to know from, all the other companies, the Marvel, DC, and the rest of them. I think, if I might make one story that sent, for me, it would be better if I had like an opening page, a splash page. I think I could do that. Then the next page be all text, perhaps with some, maybe with a picture here or there. And then the next page, just a picture, about a full page of images. Okay. Now, I may add a little bit of dusting of pink to bring out the skin tone. Because something that was going through my mind a few weeks ago when I was working on the story that we at the comics sketch group started. On week 7, I think it was, is that I needed to use different shades. A digital art scanner, Photoshop. No, I've tried watching videos about that, and I just don't see how a person does something like that without holding an instrument in their hand. So here's the face. It's coming along a little bit better. Now I'm gonna use this pink to add some tone into the skin. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit. And I think I even messed up his. Yeah, I messed up his beard right below the lip. But I not like my mom has told me something many times, and it's true. In cooking, there are no mistakes. And since I'm not a pro, there are no mistakes on my pad. And also, I thought of something a few weeks ago when we started week 7. And it's been in my mind ever since. Yeah, I used some pink, and I shaded in the nose. Looks better, I think. Something that came to me a few weeks ago is, make your mistakes work for you. When I was working on a page of a Pokemon-like creature, I somehow made a mistake and had, I think, a red marker in my hand or something, and made a red splotch about here. But I decided that can work for me. So I drew a rose in front of the creature, and then put some patches of grass around the rose, and I couldn't see the mistake anymore. Okay, now I'm going to try and put in the picture he's wearing a green cap, so I'm going to try and draw the bill and then the hat over and see how much room that takes up over his forehead. I didn't want to draw the skin, I didn't want to shade in the skin before I drew the hat. Let's go back to the picture here. Okay. And learning the difference of, the difference of pencils. I mean, this light pencil, is said to be soft, but I'm guessing that means it's touched to the page. I'm not sure. Okay, let's start with the bill here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and then yeah, that looks about. Yeah, that looks. That looks good. Okay. Now and it's not too bad. I like this. I mean, his hat may not look like much right now, but there's the dome of the hat, the bill, and then the edge. And I think I have some dark green because his hat is dark green. And if I don't have dark green, then I know I have grass green. Thank you, Florence. It's good. I wondered at first if it would work, because looking at the pad, then looking at the screen, then back again, it's not. It's it's not. It's not very easy. Here's the grass green. I think that's almost like a dark green. Hey, I have olive green. And olive. Is that right? Yeah. No, olive green. And maybe I should use that if I ever try to draw a green arrow. Oh, bad joke. Yeah, I know. That was bad. All right, I should get some other types of greens out just to give the hat texture. And this is a apple green. Grass green with an apple green. Yeah, I think that could work. Okay. Now, there is writing on his hat here on the dome, but I'm not real sure if I could get all that writing in. It's because it's mainly it's writing inside an oval against the dome of the hat, and something else I should do is to give the hat dimension. Let's see, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's better. This is something I've been struggling with, is to give dimension to a drawing. I put just a light mark of pencil down there so I would remember to try and shade his hat so it looks like a real hat, not just a drawing. And I love working with you guys because when I do, it challenges me to become better at this. I've got grass green and apple green. Now let's see. The darkest portion of his hat, and this may be due to the light when I took the picture. But one reason that I enjoy using these pencils is because, well, sometimes my eraser does have difficulty erasing a mistake, but it's not impossible. Whereas if I were to use a marker, then that would not, if I made a mistake, I would have to just keep drawing over it or just restart completely, I think. But I do think my mom's correct. I'm not yet ready for the gold standard. And something else that is true of markers, because I try to write comic book reviews as often as I can, and I use a lot of pens, and it's mainly because I don't know if they're just crappy pens that I bought, but or if they're just running down to the just drying up. But that's something that can never be said of pencil here. It'll never dry up. And with pencil, the ink will never fall down to the bottom because it's not ink. This is not going to be reflective of his hat entirely. But I think it's going to look good. Yeah. Oh, I remember what I was going to say a little bit ago. Something I discovered a few weeks ago when I originally started that project during week 7. It's when I started to draw bushes, I didn't do what I probably would have when I was younger. I didn't. I was I was coloring the bushes, and I didn't use just one shade of green like I would when I was younger. I used several shades of green because it occurred to me today, when I go outside and I look at the trees or the bushes, it's obvious to me that they aren't just one color. There's several hues of green, sometimes yellows. Yeah, that looks good. Let me use the grass screen to show off where the creases are in the hat. Yeah, that looks good. I'm happy with this. I really am. And this is like something I keep telling myself every now and then because I think it's important. Even though I'm drawing the likeness of a real person right now, it doesn't have to be perfect. And especially with fiction, that can be anything I want because with fiction, there are no limits. I remember the first time I went to see, well, I think I only went to the theater once, but I remember when I went to see Star Wars A New Hope in 1977. I was just a little kid then. My dad took me. And I remember seeing Luke Skywalker looking up at the sky. I think it was early morning for him, and there was two suns. That's something that I could do. I could write my own universe of characters, and it could have two suns, three or four. Something that has been occurring to me in the past, I'd say 2 months or so, is even the people who identify themselves with the comic gate or whatever. I can't keep it straight. They seem to sometimes be a little bit, I don't know, rigid. Because fiction is something that does not have to reflect real life. But it's up to the writer and the artist, I think, to a lesser extent, to decide if the world they're creating will reflect real life or not. Because you get all these people going on about how, they can't identify with this character and that character because this character's whatever and that character's whatever. I think that's a bunch of bull. Mark Crilly, okay. Proca and Draw with Jazza are good for anatomy. Oh yes, I will definitely check them out because something I've been wanting to learn is how to really properly draw the eyes, the nose, lips, and hands and feet too. Oh yeah, it was. And seeing A New Hope on the big screen because it was my dad with me. He was the one who took me, and that was a lot of fun. Okay, let me see. I'll make sure I have this portion of his skin roughly the same as, or not necessarily the same, but close to the rest of it. I mean, he's wearing a cap, so I can't necessarily say, oh, he's he's sunburned. No, I can't do that. But I didn't want to draw the cap until I had the face finished. Okay, now here's something I really have to work hard on is the ear. Try and get that shading in. All right, now I've got my pink here. And that's drawing with you guys has really made me learn that, you know, characters aren't always going to be one color in the skin, one color in the hair. I tried one with my mother a few days ago, and I was horrified by it. But I knew she would want to see it since it was her. So I photographed it with my cell phone and sent it to her. But I tell you, it looks nothing like her. Nothing like her at all. But she loved it. So that's good enough. Okay, I think I know what to do here. Okay. Now mix some silver in with that. Then maybe use some white. That's gonna look kind of goofy, but you know, I'm not drawing for paycheck. I'm just drawing because I want to learn how to draw. And what better way than drawing pictures of actual people? Okay. Now I'm just gonna okay, that's not too bad. Okay, now this is gonna look kind of goofy, but it's for what? It's for what? His teeth are gonna look kind of goofy, but it's because in the picture only his top row of teeth are visible. This is the finished picture. This is a faculty manager where I volunteer on Sundays, and he's a good friend of mine. It's been a good friend of mine. Someone who always likes to make fun of me every now and then, and it's all good. But I know his teeth look kind of goofy. But like I said, he only in the picture he's only showing his top row of teeth, not his bottom row. Thank you, Florence. Well, that's my drawing. You know, my first live stream drawing. I did one, I think, when shortly after I started with the comic sketch group, but I don't think that one went very well. Not sure if I even kept it. Well, thank you, Florence, for joining me, and for anyone else who may have stopped by, thank you as well. And for anybody else who comes by my channel, please do subscribe to Spirit Comics. Smash that notification bell like She-Hulk so you won't miss a new video. Also, please like and share this video with others. And comment away. Leave all your comments that you have. If you watch my sketch and you think it's crap, that's fine. If you watch my sketch and drawing and you like it, that's great as well. Yep. Till next time, true readers.